Narrator sounds like he's about to call your cell phone and demand ransom in exchange for your kidnapped child. WTF?
I seriously don't understand what he said. Can anyone synopsis for me?
Narrator came from Transformers universe.
Someone explain please, I couldn't understand the voiceover lol.
Okay.
Add weathering with you on it now.
Now we got another one connected in Marvel Makoto Shinkai Universe Tenki no Ko. The next one will be the best crossover of Makoto Shinkai.
Q Marvel Cinematic Universe Makoto Cinematic Universe.
The Garden of Words, your name and weathering with you are all connected.
Okay.
After reading through many comments made on my video from a few years ago about the possibility of the Garden of Words and your name existing in the same continuity, I decided to finally make a follow-up video, considering how popular that video became. Beyond my expectations, it is currently sitting at over 100,000 views. While this is an incredible achievement, I felt that it's important that I address the mistakes I made in it because of how popular it's become. For instance, as many people pointed out, I made my voice too low, making it harder for people to understand what I was saying. The pitch of my voice is something that I tried adjusting over several videos, and I think this current one is easier to hear than my previous one, which admittedly sounds exaggeratedly deep. Also, I overlooked something in my video that the Makoto Shinkai Wiki pointed out. While Yukari Yukino appears in both movies, her appearance in Your Name conflicts with the ending of The Garden of Words, where she relocates to her hometown in Shikoku late September of 2013. Meanwhile, in Your Name, she has been a teacher in Itomori since the start of September 2013. After reading this and getting over a wave of disappointment, I watched the movies again to confirm to myself whether this completely nullified my hypothesis. In The Garden of Words, it's not specifically stated that Yukino relocates to Shikoku in late September of 2013. It's somewhat implied, but not directly stated outright. In Your Name, it's not specifically stated that she started teaching in Itomori since the start of September of 2013. So there is a leeway of a few days, meaning that Yukino could have started teaching for a few days when she made her appearance. As a side note, I also learned that Takao appears for a split second in Your Name as well near the end, which I didn't catch before. I'd like to thank these YouTube comments and this Reddit post that helped me find this tweet by Makoto Shinkai confirming that Takao had a cameo in Your Name. Taking this into consideration, I'd like to think that my idea still holds some potential to be true, despite the conflict mentioned in the wiki. It is a slight stretch, but a plausible one, unlike my next topic. My previous video was based on the assumption that the Garden of Words and Your Name could be connected and could take place in the same timeline, and consequently the same universe, due to having the same character, Yukino, in both movies. However, this idea becomes difficult to argue for when considering the movie Wuthering With You. I should clarify first that cameos don't always equal continuity between series. Cameos are usually interesting appearances from different media that people can recognize. It's just that in this case, the cameos in question are from movies made by the same director, Makoto Shinkai, which is why I wanted to believe that there was a possibility of every movie happening in the same universe and continuity. Now that that's been settled, these are the cameos from Your Name in Wuthering With You that I know of currently. Wuthering With You, or Tenki no Ko, which translates to Weather's Child in Japanese, has a cameo of both Taki and Mitsuha. After Hodaka and Hina help an elderly woman make the day sunny, her grandson is revealed to be Taki. Since this occurs in 2021, Taki would be 22 here since he was born in 1999. This is believable since Taki could have been visiting his grandmother in Tokyo while in university or looking for jobs. This would be before he starts looking for jobs at the end of Your Name, which takes place from 2021 to 2022. Next, when Hodaka is looking around to buy a gift for Hina, he runs into Mitsuha. Mitsuha helps him decide what gift to buy for Hina. Mitsuha would be 25 here since she was born in 1996. She could have been working at the store after relocating to Tokyo due to the comet falling in Itomori in 2013. Other minor possible cameos that only show up for a few seconds are Tessie, Sayaka, and Yotsuha. Tessie and Sayaka watch the sunny sky from a Ferris wheel. The man's hat looks like what Tessie wore, and the woman's hairstyle looks like Sayaka's. As for Yotsuha, when high schoolers see the sunny sky, the girl with the twin tails looks a bit like Mitsuha's sister Yotsuha. These cameos are less certain though, so they could just be coincidences. Now that the cameo has been pointed out, this is where things get more difficult to explain. According to the wiki, Taki and Mitsuha reunite in April of 2022. However, at the end of Weathering with You, that takes place in August of 2021, Hodaka decides to save Hina from getting sacrificed, and Hina prays for them to return to the ground, leading in rainfall and resulting in much of Tokyo flooding and sinking underwater by 2024. This means that the reunion at the end of Your Name becomes nearly impossible, since the area would likely have been underwater by then. Therefore, the timeline does not make sense, and the continuity becomes implausible. That being said, I have come up with 3 possibilities that could explain this inconsistency. Idea number 1. A new branch in timeline was made when Hina was not sacrificed. As Hodaka shouts his choice to let rain fall, we see the scene zoom out to see Japan from outer space. While this is to show the storm clouds gathering over Tokyo, this could also be showing that the timeline was split. The end of Your Name happens in one timeline where Tokyo does not flood, and the end of Weathering with You happens in another timeline where Tokyo does flood. While this would explain the inconsistencies, there's really not enough evidence shown in the movie to show that this is the case, and this is my weakest hypothesis. Idea number 2. It stopped raining for the few days that are shown at the end of Your Name. It's never stated in the news report in Weathering with You the rain never stopped over Tokyo. Hodaka does narrate that the rain never stopped falling, but this could be a slight exaggeration. Also, the ground is clearly wet when Taki and Mitsuha reunite, because water splashes while they're running around looking for one another. Therefore, that particular area was perhaps not flooded, and the flooding did not begin in earnest until later in 2022. Out of all my ideas, I'd like to believe in this one the most, since it gives enough leeway for everything in the 3 movies to occur when they do. Yukino teaches in Itomori, Taki visits his grandmother, and Mitsuha works at the mall. This can all occur without conflicts occurring in the timeline. But then we come to idea number 3. Idea number 3 is simple. The movies are not connected. Your Name and Weathering with You take place in separate universes and share no continuity with one another, and the cameos are just fun Easter eggs. Makoto Shinkai has stated in interviews that he's not sure if he should make a connected universe, and doesn't care about the inconsistencies in the timelines, although I couldn't find the interview article that the wiki referenced for the interview done at the French premiere of Weathering with You. Regardless, based on these responses, it's unlikely that the movies take place in the same universe in canon, and following the principle of Occam's razor, which says that the simplest answer is generally the correct one, I think this is the most likely idea. While I do think the idea from my previous video of the Garden of Words and Your Name sharing continuity is possible still, the simpler idea of the movies not being connected in the same universe is admittedly more plausible. I can admit that now. To Makoto Shinkai, the emotions that are produced by the audience as a result of watching the movies are perhaps more important to him than making everything in the movies make logical sense in terms of keeping the timelines consistent. I'd like to compare it to Makoto Shinkai's characters that focus more on emotions than reason. This seems to be a running theme behind many of Makoto Shinkai's films, where love takes precedence over anything else. Takao in The Garden of Words takes on a group of upperclassmen that bully Yukino all by himself. Taki, in Your Name, decides to travel all the way to Itomori to find Mitsuha, whom he doesn't actually remember meeting in person. Finally, Hodaka decides to stop Hina's sacrifice and lets rain fall on Tokyo, leading to thousands, if not millions, of people losing their homes due to flooding. These may seem like rash decisions, but to the characters themselves, there was no other way. As an aside, I wanted to mention the influence that nature has on the characters' decisions in these movies. The rain leads to Takao and Yukino going back to her place and allows them to have a heart-to-heart moment. The meteor falling on Itomori is what drives Taki to find a way to go back in time and save Mitsuha as well as the townspeople. The heavy rainfall is the cause for Hina sacrificing herself and pushes Hodaka to save her. Nature is not able to be stopped in these movies, but it has its own patterns. The comet fragment ends up falling in both timelines for Your Name, in the same location that the comet fell 1,200 years ago. And the rain leads to flooding of Tokyo in Weathering with You, but it is revealed that the flooded regions of Tokyo used to be underwater in the past, suggesting that nature is trying to reset itself. In any case, nature is treated as a powerful force in these movies, and is something that should be respected. Even if cameos may not make sense and lead to continuity issues between movies, what seems to matter more to the director Makoto Shinkai is that people recognize the characters and feel joy in seeing them again. And while that can be frustrating for me personally, since shifting the events of Weathering with You to 2022 would have solved this issue, I can at least respect the director's intentions. Thank you for watching.